what kind of work are you doing, and why it is important to be able to make images of a brain in order to able to understand how it works?
I'm trying to understand how the brain works at all scales. And in our age, the time that we're living in, we stand ready to realize from the many ways that we can obtain new information about the brain, how it works, how we work, who we are, how memory works, what goes wrong in many diseases. So it's a very exciting time both to be a biologist and a brain researcher, and more importantly, because there's so much information, how to use information technology, networking, computing, data storage, community participation, crowdsourcing, to assemble and understand all that makes us us.
Mm. And could you please give me an example? What kind of work are you doing?
The whole brain catalog, okay, is what we call it. This is meant to be a very accessible tool, very much like Google Earth is for geography and mapping of cities and finding your way, for researchers, students, the general public to explore and understand the brain, but also to add information. For example, at the school level, if a classroom is interested in studying a part of the brain that's involved in memory, the lesson plan for the, let's say, junior high school 12-year-old kids can be what a nerve cell is, what type of nerve cell is there. Then they can go to this space and they can learn about what the images, what the cells look like, and then they can go to something like Wikipedia, but it's really designed for the terms and information about the cells, and put them in the location. And if they want to take some large 3D images that have been obtained by a researcher but they have not been fully traced, they can spend their time in sort of an artistic mode, following the contours, following the surfaces, trying to pick out things that have not before been mapped. And if they do a good enough job on their project, they can give it to the public.
It sounds that this kind of work has a huge challenge for computing, data storage, and could you please example how?
Well, the amount of data is very large, and there are many instruments that are producing larger and larger amounts of data, just like the cameras that you buy have more pixels, or the television has more pixels. In research laboratories, for lower cost, we're getting better devices to obtain the data. So the data is getting very large. The cost of moving that data, the cost of storing that data is not so bad, but the way that we are charged for using networks, the cost of taking the data in and out, the use fees are very large. So we have to have different ways to support the utilization that are not based on metering for the in and out. It's an analogy would be if in your country you have a public library system. You can get a book from a library. It is probably like in my country, you're right to have a card for the library because your government wants you to be able to get a book and read whatever you want. Right now the internet is open, but if you started to try and pull very large amounts of data, someone would be charging you for the metering charge of using the network. Okay? If you went to the library to get Tolstoy's War and Peace, they wouldn't charge you more for that than a comic book. So we have a problem because the size of the information that we're creating in the digital age doesn't match the free and openness that we need to have in order for individuals to be able to use greater amounts of data, of information.
And how a research network community can help you to meet your research needs?
They can help by making more storage and more replication of storage connected in a persistent way by networks that knit together all of the repositories, all of the storage all over the world, including the storage in my phone. My phone has twice the memory I need. So why not let me pay for the power? Why not let me share part of my phone to store public data? There has to be a new model for supporting the cost. So the networking community can help not only with the high performance networks, but also bringing the performance to the level where the community can support the last levels, the last connections.